postman's here.
Package for you.
Wow! Heck yeah, dude. Frick yeah. Lord Kurt's here, so we're gonna get these upgrades started. He actually duplicated the battery pack. We figured we wouldn't bring you guys along for that since he already showed.
It's already a video for that.
Exactly.
Check it out.
But we do need to we need to start building this battery. This is the original battery pack. We took all the cells out, tested every single one. They all tested good.
All their capacities listed on the cells for you. When we tore it apart though, we had some remnants of the spot welding from the first build on there still. Gotta clean those off before we can design and put this new one together.
All the upgrades actually came in that we're expecting. I still do need the rear tire for the wheel, but we got our 8,000 watt motor. We got our controller, Kelly controller here. We also finally got this charger like 2.5 months after we ordered it, and it got some connector stuff, yeah. So all the upgrades are here, we're just gonna get going on it. Alright, well I just went to the motorcycle shop to get this tire mounted. We just got the tire, which I'm super excited about, but they said they couldn't mount it. They had no clue what this was. They're like, oh, never seen one of those, you know, like whatever, blah, blah, blah. So they wouldn't mount it, which is annoying, but we're just gonna have to get tire spoons and do it ourselves. Lord Kurt has been over here killing it.
These two are ready to go. All we're gonna do is connect them all up. This one's a little more complicated because it's larger cells, and so if we did a 20 series in this way, it would be a lot narrower and a lot longer, probably about this long. It wouldn't have worked. So what we did instead was we shortened it down and made it so that there was a full parallel connection, and the next parallel group started on that same row. So it actually made it a little more complicated, but you can see it's 6P, but there's 2 here and 4 here, and it just continues around. So there's still 20 series groups, but they're just arranged kind of awkwardly.
And we actually just wrapped up our very first live stream. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It was awesome being able to just like meet you guys in like a live environment. Well, the bike looks a little bit different. We are actually getting ready for paint. Some of you guys don't know just yet, but we are repainting this thing. While I was doing that, Lord Kurt was in here hammering out some batteries. So you can see I got plastics over here. There was a lot of them. I disassembled the full gauge cluster and everything, so there's little tiny pieces everywhere, but we're repainting everything. Can't wait to show you guys that. Lord Kurt was hammering some stuff out in here.
So this is all arranged order of when we built them. All I've done so far is just beefed up kind of the discharge cables. These are ultimately all going to be wired together. Each pack's going to be wired in parallel with each other. This one was more complicated. We had to go through and, because not all the things lined up right, had to solder in leads. But when this is all said and done, what you're going to end up seeing is this one in the center, and this one here, and all of the red cables are going to come together. I'm going to snip them off and crimp them to the 2 gauge. The cables inside of here are going to carry the same amount of current all cumulatively as the 2 gauge cable would. And then these will all just be connected pairs to pairs so that it's all discharging as one single unit. But we'll have some foam between them and just wrap it all together as a single unit, so it's just a 90-pound battery that you just lug and set in the bag.
It's coming together really well. it came time to mount the tire on the wheel. The spoons were not working very well, so we went and tried the handy dandy zip tie method, where you just basically compress the tire as much as you can with zip ties and then do the same thing with the spoons, and it worked out pretty well. Then I went on to paint, of course. I did gloss black with a gloss clear coat for the black bits. The trim pieces that I painted black were definitely cheap. They had like a plastic stamp, so it was like textured, and it just looked cheap, and the paint did not lay down very well on those, but it still looked better than factory. So I also got some lawn mowing done between coats. It was definitely time to landscape that place. We got new renters in there, so we're super happy. And then I sanded my life away. There was a lot of sanding, and the body filler I had to sand down flat and everything. So that took a while, but it was easy enough. And then we went on to spray the white, and it turned out amazing. I went 2 medium coats of satin white, and I did 1 heavy coat of matte clear. And it turned out beautifully. I did the same paint job on the CX500 and I absolutely loved it, so I just replicated it on this build. Right now we're trying just to bend the lip. The battery sits about 1/4 of an inch or so, a little bit too far past the edge of the box, so it's really tight in there. Luckily it fits just well enough to where we don't have to make any crazy serious modifications. And we're using some, what, 1/2 inch or so thick foam?
3/4 it looks
3/4 inch foam-ish.
Just get a little padding on the bottom of.
Think you can lift that?
Alright, let's get a final weight with.
Alright.
Gained a pound.
Currently 91.4.
So the final weight of the battery is 91.4.
As you guys can see, it's a pretty tight fit. That looks like it fits a lot better than when we tested it the other night.
It should fit okay, actually.
Yeah. Alright, there it is, little baby one. You want to do a side-by-side comparison?
Yeah.
A little bit bigger.
500 amp, 100 amp.
Yep. Alright boys, this is shaping up to look like an actual bike now. We've been basically just trucking on a whole bunch of different things. So let's take a look first at the controller. We got that thing pretty much mounted up. Lord Kurt just actually installed the amplifier.
So it's going to be Bluetooth connectivity right here. Controlled from there to the amps on the back here. We just got to run the wires to the speakers, which are the big surprise.
Yeah, dude. So we're wiring all that stuff up. So what I'm doing is just getting the rear fender on for now. I'm not going to put anything up front yet. We're going to get everything installed before we do that, but I can start buttoning up the back end. I did do a DIY fender eliminator. Used the factory rear fender, chopped it all up, made it look a heck of a lot better. Definitely going to put an LED. It's just a T10 bulb in there. I got lots of LED T10 sitting around.
We're running the speakers on a 24 volt system, so we got a second DC to DC buck converter. We'll probably just stick that in here. So then we'll just have to connect it up.
And the speakers are getting installed on the fairings right there. And so I'm super excited about that. Hopefully they do a pretty decent job. It's 5 1/4 speakers. So that's what we're working on right now. But we're just trucking, so smash that like.
I mean, we just got to figure out how to deal with all the harnesses to the new controller.
Yeah.
Which I got to pull up some wiring diagrams so you can figure that out.
Yeah, that's going to be probably
connectors.
The trickiest part probably, but not hard, just a little bit tricky and time consuming maybe. But last upgrade right now is swapping out this this motor. So I think I might just get right down to it.
We pull it off, yeah.
And you guys know what happened next.
See you later.
This was kind of a blessing in disguise though. One of my only concerns with this bike was the welds and the structural integrity of the frame. Would it hold together at high speeds? A lot of people have voiced their concerns for these Chinese bikes, the welds actually breaking on the frame, and they'll be riding and, you know, welds on the frame break and it could be catastrophic. So it was a blessing in disguise because it took the impact basically directly onto the frame and nothing broke. And it had the full weight of the battery in it at that time. So it basically told me that the frame is good and I should be okay to ride this thing without having to worry about the welds holding up. How about that? All right, well, we just got the tire installed, finally, the wheel installed. It took a lot of, you know, putting it on, pulling it off, and then, you know, trying to figure out spacing and whatnot, because this wheel sits differently than that old wheel did. And so spacers were, you know, we put the same spacers on this one as that one originally, but then we realized it was way too far to the right. And then so we had to add spacers over here to bring it more centered over to the left. So that's what we found. We just had to mess with spacers a lot. And we were also dealing with not enough thread for the different nuts and everything. But that's pretty much it. The brake fits up just as it did. So that's perfect, so we know we installed something right. But doing it, we also did accidentally drop it off the center stand, which gave us a heart attack, but didn't really do much in terms of damage. It did break this rear fender, but that's pretty much it. So we're just gonna pull this off, we're gonna repair it, and we're gonna get right back to it. So I basically tried as much as I could to get this wiring figured out. It wasn't perfectly labeled right off the bat. Like the wires from the stock wiring harness were named different things. They were called different things than what the controller calls them. So I'm trying to plug these into the most logical order that the controller can interpret the information correctly. But it's still a work in progress. I think I have it all figured out, but there was no 12 volt power coming from the bike on the stock wiring harness. And I noticed over here that these call for 12 volt power wires, and those are not connected. Well, it's the next day. I did look at all the wiring we had done and everything, and I went on Endless Sphere, which is a electric bike forum, and they were super helpful. Looks like the power wire right here, the number 7, was actually to power the controller. So the controller, I don't think, was getting any power. So I plugged that in. It's from what they said on Endless Sphere, you can't find much in like the manual and whatnot for this controller, but it looks like the number 7 pin, it takes a 72 volt or just straight from the battery, just a battery positive to number 7 pin. There was a wire here from the original bike, from the original wiring, that's a 72 volt wire, and it looks like it's connected directly to the ignition switch. So if you come down here, here's the ignition switch wires right here, and as you can see, the yellow wire, what they called an E-lock wire on the original wiring, goes straight to the ignition switch. And so when I turn it on, it's hot with 72 volts. And so from what all I read on that Endless Sphere last night, that's exactly what you should do. I'm kind of nervous to try it, but you know, nobody ever won without playing. So here we go. I'm gonna flip the breaker. Okay, so far nothing. Let's see what we get here. Now if I turn it on and the wheel starts spinning because the wiring is wrong, I'm gonna have my hand on the brake just in case. Okay, it's on. Nothing. Check it. Diagnostics pulled up. I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing this. I haven't even looked at any of this, so maybe it's all wrong, but it just pulled this up. Before, it was giving me some read errors. I reset the ignition, turned it back on, restarted the program, and then it just pulled this up. So I think we're in. All right, well, I have no idea what I'm looking at. This is all gibberish to me. Most of it's gibberish to me. It's definitely a reading. It pulled up the module name, which is the correct serial number for the controller. Looks like it pulled up everything it needed to. So We definitely have some tuning, some tuning options here. I'm gonna make sure I know what I'm looking at before I start changing anything. This stuff is very sensitive, and if you change something to the wrong thing, it definitely could have some serious implications on how it runs or if it blows up. I'm really excited, guys. This is actually working out. Even if I don't figure this out tonight, I think I'm gonna at least start putting the bike back together, because at this point, there's no reason not to, so. This is the first time I'm seeing it outside. It looks so good. I don't have the mirrors on yet. I actually have some aftermarket mirrors coming. Something I didn't show you guys is the speaker system on this. So come on over here. So to turn it on, just right up here is the amplifier. So you just turn it on. All right, so let me pair it with my phone really quick. And there you go. So let me just play something for you guys really quick. Now these speakers down here are 5 1/4 speakers. We tried the 6.5 inch speakers. They were actually too big. They wouldn't fit between this ledge and this ledge here. So we had to get 5 1/4. So they don't really pump too hard, but for ambient music, that kind of thing while I'm just working and stuff, I think that'll be a great addition. Check out, I wired all the lights in and everything. Very good looking bike. Very, very good looking bike. So yeah, check that out and go around to the back over here. Got the new fender eliminator on here with the LED license plate light that I changed. Looks real cool. So I'm super happy with it. All right, you guys ready for this? Let's listen, take a listen. This is coming from the motorcycle, guys. Now they do have an LED light, like a backlight. I don't know how to make that work. We plugged them in and they're not working, so. Yeah, we have yet to figure some stuff out. All right guys, well that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Sorry I didn't get like a first ride or like you guys didn't see it run. I'm still working through that, but we are on a schedule. I'm trying to get this thing running the next couple days, so you guys should be able to see that pretty soon. I have some people hitting me up on Facebook since my last community post on here, basically helping me with wiring and all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to get this thing to run, but that's still in the works. Also, when I get this thing running, I'm gonna do our second live stream. We did the first live stream a couple weeks back and it was super fun. And if you guys want more of an insider scoop, hit up my Instagram account. It's in the description if you guys want more up-to-date, like live kind of posts, hit that up. But that being said, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. I'm super excited to get this thing running and I can't wait to show you guys. So stay tuned. I'll catch you guys then.